100 your life. You're given us a lot of fight for how to give in this level of 100. If you are protecting yourself, one important factor of your life, the ability to keep changes constantly. Yeah, well, I think these are two things that came out for the 100 your life. Now that you finished writing, which 2 years ago. So when I looking back at it, so asking yourself, what these messages came out in your 100 your life. You gives a lot of advice for how to give this if you are to put in a show, most important factor in your life, we are keep ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, well, I think it were the two things came out for 100 your life, and now that we finished writing it, which writing it 2 years ago, so you want to back at it, asking yourself, what big messages? Let's see, two big messages came out in your book. That's 100-year life. You give us a lot of advice how to give in this year of 100 year. You are putting a show most important factor of your life. Be ability to keep changes constantly. Yeah, well, I think you are two things came up for 100 July. And of course, now that we finished writing it, we should writing it 2 years ago. So when I'm looking back at it, so asking yourselves, what big messages, and honestly, two big messages came out in your books. 100 Church Drive, you give us a lot of advice how to give in this area of 100 you are to put in a show, but more important factor of your life. You ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, well, I think the two things came out with 100 July. And so now that we finished writing it, which writing it 2 years ago. So when I'm looking back at it, so asking to ourselves, what are the big messages? And it's two big messages that came out in Europe that 100 your life. You give us a lot of advice how to give in this area 100 your life. If we are to put in a shell, the most important factor of your life will be your ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, well, I think we the two things that came out of with 100 your life. Anyway, of course, now that you finish writing it, we started it 2 years ago. So when I'm looking back at it, so asking you yourself, what big messages, two big messages that came out 100 your life. You give us a lot of advice for how to give in this area 100 years your life. If you are to put in a shell, most important factor of life be the ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, I think it are the two things that came out for 100 your life. We finished writing it, so when I looking back at it, so asking yourself, what big messages, and I think two big messages came out in your book that 100 your life. You give it a lot of advice for how to give in this area of 100 your life. If we are to put in a show, most important factor out there, the ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, I think it was two things came out of 100 your life. So now that you finished writing it, so when looking back at it, so asking yourselves, what big messages and the 60 big messages that come out in your books under your life. You keep a lot of advice how to keep in this area 100 your life. If you are projecting a show, most important factor of your life, ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, I think it was two things came out of 100 your life. Now that we finished writing it, we're writing it, yeah, so when looking back at it, so asking yourself, what big messages, and you will see two big messages came out. 100 your life. You give us a lot of advice on how to keep in this area. 100 your life. If you were to put in a nutshell, most important factor of your life, your ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, I think it are the two things that came out for 100 your life. And so now that we finished writing it, we started doing it. So when I looking back at it, so asking yourself, what big messages, and this is two big messages came out. 100 your life. You give us a lot of advice how to keep in this area. 100 your life. If you are put in a nutshell, most important factor of your life, the ability to keep changing constantly. Yeah, I think it was two things that came out 100 July. And it's now that we finished writing it, we started it years ago. So when you're looking back at it, so asking yourself, what big messages, and let's say two big messages came out in your books 100 your life. You give us a lot of advice on how to keep it in this area 100 your life. You were to put in a nutshell, most important factor of your life, the ability to keep changing it constantly. Yeah, I think two things came out for 100 July. Was now that we finished writing it, we're writing it 2 years ago. So when you're looking back at it, so asking yourself, what big messages, and it's two big messages came out